Although it's typical for a 2D shoot-'em-up to start in the arcades and then eventually filter down to the home market, I have to admit that some of my favorite shooters have been exclusive to consoles. From Thunder Force 3 on the Genesis, to Einhander on PlayStation, to Lords of Thunder rocking the TurboGrafx CD, I've always been a big fan of companies that cater to us couch potatoes. You can add Valkyrius Prime to the list of high-energy shoot-'em-ups that skip the arcades in favor of home consoles. Iridescent's vertical shooter was originally part of the Xbox Live indie game marketplace, where it won over fans with its unique teleportation gimmick and old-school sensibility. Now Valkyrius has been given a new lease on life, this time with better graphics and a more compelling story. At some point in the next 966 years, humans will make first contact with aliens. But instead of leading to a Star Trek utopia where a universe full of civilizations come together to share ideas and discoveries, our first contact leads to decades of fighting with space. Ready to finish the fight, Lieutenant Valtera has been tasked with taking the Valkyrius 1 into enemy territory and destroying the alien superweapon once and for all. Instead of using up their original ideas on the setup, the developers have funneled all of their creativity into the gameplay. There are some really clever mechanics at play, starting with a teleportation move that'll send your ship a few spaces in any direction. This is mapped to the right analog stick, and becomes a major part of surviving the boss fights. This teleportation will not only help you get away from bullets and lasers, but it gives the game a unique feel I couldn't get enough of. I was also impressed with the way the game handled the weapons. Instead of firing one thing at a time, your ship can carry two different types of bullets at once. The guns on the left and the right of the ship are mapped to the controller's two trigger buttons, giving you a surprising amount of control over what you want to shoot. Best of all, you don't even need to hold the triggers down. This is the type of game where the weapons will fire on their own, and you only need to focus on dodging enemy bullets. If that isn't enough for you, Valkyrius Prime also includes modifiers and weapon upgrades that you can buy in the shop. You earn money from posting high scores and keeping the multiplier high while shooting down aliens. This opens the game up to adding mods that make your ship stronger and turn your teleportation into a deadly attack. You'll also be able to upgrade the bonus weapons, making them stronger and more effective. This is a cool idea, but you may find you won't need to spend much money in the shop. The game is challenging, but not so difficult you won't be able to bust through the 6 stages in a few attempts. I had so much fun with the teleportation mechanics that I barely had any time to notice that I was shooting a bunch of generic spaceships and just flying through some pretty bland locations. Don't get me wrong, the visuals are nice and I enjoyed the fast-paced music, but nothing about the levels stood out. This is one of those games where the gameplay makes all of the difference. That said, I'd like to see a sequel that takes this concept a little further and creates more compelling stages. This is a shoot-'em-up that took me by complete surprise, something that's rare for this genre. While you'll recognize a lot of the tropes and cliches, Valkyrius Prime manages to stand out thanks to some incredibly clever gameplay decisions. Let me tell you, it's gonna be hard to go back to shooters that don't let me teleport around the screen. Hey, thanks for watching our review. This has already been a busy week, filled with reviews of Worms WMD and The Huntsman Winter's Curse, as well as previews of Space Ribbon and Switch and Shoot. And we're not done yet. We still have a lot of games to get through, including Last Will and Super Action Mega Fight. So, I recommend you click the subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.